Okay, boomer.
Down south, hood baby, make all the girls go crazy,
Go stupid. But you smart like an A+ student. Up now, right now, looking for your love right now. La, 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 la. Up now, up round, turn my stomach upside down. La, la, la. I found your hair tie in my car. I could only.
Good evening, gentlemen. How we doing tonight?
Howdy.
Cracking.
Feeling good.
We have a special guest, Moff Rissman, joining us tonight for
Rissman.
a very interesting perspective on the Book of Boba Fett. Again, divisive, unbelievable. It doesn't seem like it doesn't matter what we do. Nobody can have an opinion. Nobody can have an opinion. It's driving me absolutely insane. What's up, chat? How's everybody doing? What's up, Bayou? Yeti, Ghost Rider, Weavin, Charlie, what is up, Average? How's it going, Dark Scorpion, John Graber, the Stanleys, Reeves, and of course, GraphWeb right off the bat. Cancel this plus. It's like clockwork with that guy, man. I love it.
I can't. I have kids.
Okay, so we are less than 12 hours off from the Book of Boba Fett episode 2 being released. And already the internet is ablaze with people saying, you can't say that. I don't like that. No, your opinion's trash. Just give me a brief rundown. Brief. What do you think about the second episode? Obsession, if you want to kick it off. Whatever. Open forum.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. I dig the Tuscan stuff. So for me, it's a different argument than for everybody else, because to me, the Tuscan is a faction that we've only seen in passing. Watching Boba Fett needed to be, he got pretty tore up in the Sarlacc, and then he gets robbed by these little thieving Jawas and scavengers, thieves, and then he gets enslaved by the Tuscans, and could have easily snapped that little kid's neck and tried to figure out where he was, but instead he's sticking around, and now he's learning another fighting style, and he wasn't necessarily, we never really saw him with melee weapons. So this is an opportunity to see, oh, you're not super great with melee weapons. Okay. And you're always willing to learn. So I feel like this was, we got to see some of those crazy eyes, that crazy look, and that savagery that we know is there. I give this one, and I mean, I'm going to be generous and say, I'm not going to give it a 10 because the whole world will melt, but I'm going to give it a solid 9, maybe 9.5, dude. This was fire. This was fire. Taking down the Pikes were there. They got their ass whooped. We got to see what Pikes look like under the mat. Forget about it.
It's a fish.
Thank you. Next.
Hawks, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I was hyped on it. I feel like hopefully for a lot of people it'll resolve the Tuscan stuff, and flashbacks can move on to like the next part of it if it's going to be a prequel tie-in. The present day stuff, that's where I'm hyped about, bringing in the other bounty hunter, the Wookiee. So basically, like, nothing has changed even though Jabba died. Like, as far as the Hutts are concerned, the territory is still where the territory has always been, and Bib Fortuna is just a placeholder. So it's kind of cool, man. I'm excited to see where that war goes and how it resolves itself or otherwise. But as far as scores, yeah, high 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5s.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are
for me
flying up there.
And I'll say this too, like,
we got 2 Hutts.
The Haka
The two
stuff
Hutts
at
was
the
dope.
end, man. Like, if we're gonna talk about earthly things, and like, I'm not trying to just say this to be edgy, but I enjoyed the Boston Dynamics robot inclusion part.
Yes.
And I didn't so much enjoy the inclusion of the dance at the end, and that, like, we know that's a part of him, but like, does that have to be a part of Boba Fett? I'm not really 100% on it. So
I agree with that.
My one criticism.
Yeah, but dude, New Zealand lost their mind when that happened, bro.
Oh my god,
for sure. Yeah.
Like,
Well, I feel like
let's
it's
give
been
him a win,
done
bro.
before too with Aquaman, right? Jason Momoa, like same
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Did he do a dance? Did he do
I
a
mean,
dance?
there's all the
Did he do a
inspiration there. That's all I need. I don't need them to do the dance. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Mom.
And also just one note on those droids that looked homemade. They were homemade, right? There was
Right.
they enlisted a certain amount of fans. I don't know how they were selected, who build droids, and they asked them to supply background droids for those scenes, right? So people provided feedback that they looked a little, again, they looked a little homemade. Yeah, fans made them.
I mean, I think that's cool. That's the same as putting the 501st members in there.
Well,
as,
and dude,
as
to me,
backup extras.
isn't that the most true heart of Star Wars? I mean, dude,
Absolutely.
think about A New Hope, man. They were building stuff out of a model shop down the road from Tiger tanks. Like the Death Star is made of like Tiger tanks. You know?
We should be okay with stuff like this as
Yeah,
fans.
I like
You know,
that. Okay, all right. That's a sidebar. Moff, let's get your opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, the episode was a 5 or a 6, right? The primary reason I didn't care for the episode is I'm much more invested in the present day story than I am. I'm not going to call it flashbacks, right? I'm going to call it this past story that they're retelling of Boba's journey, right? I think what I've come to realize, and perhaps a misconception that at least I personally brought into the series, was the type of past things they were going to be showing us was going to be more around how he acted during Empire Strikes Back, and perhaps carting, Han around, and what happened in Return of the Jedi, and then of course the Sarlacc, etc. And yes, I assumed they would tell us how he showed up in Mando, replete in Tusken attire with the gaffy stick, etc. Right? What I didn't expect was over 2 episodes, 70% of the screen time being that past story, and us having what I consider to be a little bit of a clunky telling of current day. Gotcha. I love the Hutts, right? I loved everything about the first part of the episode. I didn't like some of the things they did with the train. And it was very interesting to me. Everyone was all about the Pikes now, right? Nobody could care less about the Pikes when they showed up in Solo, but they loved the Pikes showing up in this, in this particular episode, right? You're an anomaly, right? On obsession from a Solo perspective. And I really feel like I have a lot more to say about what happened with the Tuskens, etc. I don't want to take up all the time now, right? But for me,
no, that's good. We can circle back.
That part of the story, it's just not resonating with me personally.
All right, for sure. Matt Cave, how are you feeling?
I like this episode more than I like the first episode, but not by much. They're kind of on par for me. If I was to rate these episodes, I'd probably give both of them around a 7 or a 7.5, because I'm like, you know what? We got bigger things coming. Right. And it's, at least I hope there are. I believe that there's a big payoff on its way. And actually, to Risman's point about the backstory and the past, the way I feel about that is that I think they're utilizing these first 2 episodes to get a lot of that wrapped up so that we can move forward in the next episodes. Which is why the bulk of it, 75% of the episode is all in the past. And I agree, like, we're kind of referring to as flashbacks in the wrong way. Like moments of him thinking about when he was a child, those are flashbacks. This is the story development here. And I'm on the side of the fence where I really enjoy the Tusken story, because it's something I've actually looked forward to since KOTOR. Yeah. I always wanted to know more about them, and it was kind of cool to see a different tribe, because a lot of people don't realize there's multiple tribes of Tuskens, and a lot of them don't like each other. They don't get along. Like, there's warring tribes of Tuskens. So I was like, man, that got teased so much in KOTOR, and when these guys showed up looking all like Cabal from Mortal Kombat, I was pretty hyped.
Cool. Yeah. So for me, like, man, I enjoy that episode a bunch. I'm with you, Matt Cave, a bit, where I'm like, I'm reserved about giving it a 9 out of 10, because I know there's going to be something coming up, and giving this a 9 out of 10, when we see that 10 out of 10 episode, it's going to be leaps and bounds ahead of what we're looking at right now. And I feel the early pre-quakes of what's coming. When you see Black Chrysanthemum, you see 2 Hutts coming in on a litter. Like, this thing is going to be big. In the first episode, they made it feel very, very small. It's just Tatooine. Like, we were thinking Kira was going to come down and it was just going to be Tatooine and this little town in Mos Espa. Now we've got Hutts coming in, intergalactic bounty hunters with Black Chrysanthemum showing up. I'm thinking this is going to blow up bigger and bigger. More bounty hunters are going to get involved, and we're going to see the battle of the bounty hunters, kind of like a like Avengers Civil War. You know what I mean? It's going to be like who's on Boba's side and who's on the Hutt side. You know what I mean? Because the Hutts aren't just going to give up Tatooine and be like, psh, well, I guess he can have it, bro. The Hutts don't roll like that. They just do. They don't. So for me, the Tusken stuff, it was cool. I loved seeing it. I'm ready to be done with it at this point. And like, what else is Boba going to do? He's made his gaffy stick. He's got his clothing.
I think they had to put him in the Tusken gear, right? Like you have to see these moments happen. You have to see that that's his gaffy stick. It wasn't somebody he killed. It wasn't somebody that gave it to him. He earned it. He went on that spiritual quest that took him back into the Sarlacc mentally, that showed him, you know, whether that was the Camino Ocean or whether that was the ocean of Tatooine, you know, or the waters of Tatooine, whatever the spiritual journey he went on, that needed to happen to show why he had these things that were Tuskens, because the only way you're taking that stuff is if you take it off a dead Tusken, as far as everybody's concerned. So and it also shows the special abilities, but not special abilities, just how special Boba Fett is. Not another bounty hunter or anybody goes into a Tusken camp and becomes a respected member of the clan, right? This is a unique thing for a true warrior, because at the heart of everything, Tuskens are warriors. They identify as warriors, and they know what a warrior looks like and what a warrior acts like. And so the fact that he took a head off of a sand creature and brought it back with the young Tusken boy shows a level of kinship with a fellow warrior. And then they go and find out what he's made of. Not only that, but he comes in and solves problems for them, right? Big problems that they're having. They're losing numbers, all of these things that are ailing their tribe. He comes in and helps out of respect, not wanting a bounty, not wanting money, just because they're having a problem that he can solve. So there's a lot more depth to this than just showing us these little bits and bobs of the Tuskens. This is showing us who the new Boba Fett is, right? This is showing us what's going to happen 5 years fast forward when he goes into Jabba's palace to get his ship.
And it's a lot of character development. I agree 100%. Like I said, like, okay, we got it. I think it's time to move on. But Moff, you had an interesting point we were talking about in the backstage about that character growth. I want you to kind of expand on that if you can. Let the good people know what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a couple of points, and actually there's a third point I've thought of subsequent, and Obsession was just hitting on it with the creature that Boba choked, right? There's been some scuttlebutt that creature is called a Logra, that's appeared in a couple of different places, but specifically has been used in the past for Tusken children as a rite of passage, as opposed to going out and killing great dragons. They behead the Logras and they come back. And that sort of shows their own progression. So I think with his adopted child, if you will, participating there, I think there was a bit of message, right? But generally speaking, I personally feel like they've sort of taken some of the motifs that we're used to from the Jedi's story, right, in regards to how they construct their own lightsaber and become respected members of the council and do different things. And they've sort of substituted here the journey that Boba went on. Again, I found it a bit peculiar with the lizard and nose and different things, but okay, that's part of their culture. Let's put that to the side for a second, right? But to me, that whole thing seemed a little bit like rinse and repeat or reuse, such as there's no Jedis here. This is kind of the same. Let's do something, right? But over and above that, I do think Disney Star Wars is a little gun shy right now in regards to the treatment that Rey received in the sequels, right? And a lot of the feedback that people provided saying she went from nothing to everything overnight, with little to no training, not even the 3 lessons that Luke promised, etc. And people were very against that, right? And we see here with Boba at the very beginning, him beaten by children, bested by a female warrior, training significantly to understand how to use a gaffy stick, figuring out their language and signing and doing things that I would have to presume he had no knowledge of before he came to be with them, and dedicating a significant. He went from let's get to Anchorhead and get out of here to I'm going to help you take out this train, and I'm going to do all sorts of things that shows my personal progression and everything I'm putting into this. I felt like they overcompensated. I felt like I got it, right? I got it without them having to spend so much time making sure I got it. And for me, it was like, we're not making this mistake again. We're going to give it to you this time, big time.
Right.
And for me, it was too much.
Well,
That's the old Trey Parker. That's why you got a montage.
well, but-
Everybody
okay.
needs a montage.
At the same time, for me, this is another. As far as him deciding he wants to rule Tatooine, right? The fact that he has the respect of Tuskens puts him a step above anybody else that lays claim to Tatooine. The fact that he can communicate with the Tusken tribe and have the respect of a figurehead in the Tusken community gives him more ammunition in a war for Tatooine.
Yeah, it's like Dune. He's got desert power.
Something I just thought about is that if there's enough Tuskens between all of the cities, they can control the trade routes.
Right.
They can say who passes and who is allowed to go through because they'll just snipe them out.
And I think that's
So
what this was building towards.
that could
Boba
actually
has-
be a huge asset.
that Boba is gonna, he may not have to win a war with troops in front of troops. He might be able to control the trade routes, much like the Hutts did with the Republic and the Empire, or the well, yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be the Republic and the New Republic and the Empire, but the Hutts controlled a lot of space lanes, right? They controlled a lot of stuff that was going on in the Outer Rim. So for me, if Boba has the respect of Tuskens and has taught them how to control their shipping lanes and helps them over the next couple years control those shipping lanes, when he comes to Tatooine to claim ownership of Jabba's territory, move something in my town. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead, move something in my town.
Yeah, and I also think we have two very close examples now of Mandalorian figures who have done something significant with different Tusken populations, and they're clearly not the same tribes, right? The people that Din helped with the Krayt Dragon and the people that Boba is helping here, right? They're not the same tribes, right? So I think there's an opportunity when we fast back forward to the current post-Mando time frame where Boba needs the help. I think there's an opportunity for Din to make a reappearance, for there to be some meeting of the minds between these tribes brokered by these two Mandalorians. I think there's some significance.
Don't you feel like Boba laid the groundwork for Din Djarin? Right? Like, for me, without Boba interacting with these Tuskens, Din Djarin isn't able to have these conversations with the Tuskens, right? Because this is several years before Din is on Tatooine with hunting for Fennec, right? So I feel like without Boba laying this framework, that makes it make more sense why Din can talk to the Tuskens.
I don't want him to connect it that hard.
I think
don't like
not. The only reason I think not is because around the campfire, there was significant conversation from the chieftain that said, we sort of all splintered away. I didn't get the impression that there was really any interaction, at least between the tribe that Boba was a part of and other tribes. So it's curious how both Boba and Din understood how to communicate with Tuskens. I think that's one thing. I personally don't think there was any ground setting there at all. And that's why I think if we're going to have this, I need help. Can y'all come together and help me do something? I think there's an opportunity for Din to assist with that.
Yeah, there's definitely room for it. I mean, the Tuscans are definitely. I think somebody just said it in the chat a little bit ago. Like the Tuscans are Boba's ace in the hole right now. He even set it up so that anyone passing through the deserts like that, they gotta pay a toll now to those
Right.
Tuscans. Like he set them up so that they're being helped.
Well, and wouldn't that go more to what I'm saying is that Boba basically with this small tribe, and now they're going to be getting paid tolls for anybody that wants to come through their land. Doesn't this set that clan up to be financially better off than any of the other clans? And wouldn't they learn that communicating with people sometimes is more beneficial than just gunning everybody down? That's what I'm saying. I could see Boba helping this tribe become more of a faction head because they're actually either getting paid in water, which they covet more than money. So I could see them getting paid in water trucks and making them a sought out ally in the Tuscan world. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I think this could lay framework for deeper conversations involving Tatooine, right? Why Boba feels so confident coming and taking Jabba's throne, because I'm not alone. Technically, if I need help, I can go find my friends, right? And get some help here on Tatooine. So, and the Tuscans are sneaky. They come up on you out of nowhere. Look, Luke learned that lesson. Looking for some droids. Pow!
Yeah, the chat's pretty much nailed it. The spice trades are not something that they want people to even know they have in these locations, and they're probably just controlling that area of Tatooine or a larger area of Tatooine. It can be just a smaller Pike syndicate. And the Pikes without the helmets kind of took me out of it, bro. I was not expecting them to look like that, man. I needed a little bit more menacing. Like they were just like normal bros. Like, sure, people. Which way do we go? I'm ready.
We're just trying to sell some drugs, man.
Is that a catfish? wait, you're a catfish under that mask?
Well, that's like your opinion, man.
Catfish! Don't be afraid.
Bro, they literally had whiskers,
God,
bro.
not again.
Well, and I've also seen some feedback, right? Why were they in a train? Why weren't they flying around or whatever? And to me, I found that to be a bit obvious, right? It's a lot easier to hide moving around in a train, right, and sand and all this than it is flying all over the damn place.
Did the solo Pike speak common?
Yeah,
because they didn't have subtitles. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know if it was translated or if it was.
You know what they interact with so many different groups and speaking.
They need the
what do they call it? Galactic Basic or
Basic.
whatever they call it.
Yeah.
A lot of the different groups will speak it because they have to interact with so many different ways. But let me ask you guys this: speaking of that train scene and moments that kind of take you out, I didn't mind the Pikes so much. I thought it was kind of cool to see them without their helmet. The thing that took me out of it a little bit in that scene was that droid driving the train.
That droid was dope.
Not so much.
Oh, like the one that bailed.
Yeah, the design was cool, but it was his movement. It was kind of goofy.
But you also thought that it was part of a pod. It was part of a pod racer, right? The engine assembly and the controls
on top,
modified, and the way that all the lights lined up and all that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure wasn't that the burner from Sebulba's pod racer?
I think
no.
I think that's where they were going. What they were going for.
Man.
I mean, it looks exactly like the burner end of Sebulba's pod racer.
Well, what did we see? What was it that we saw Anakin's pod engine in?
That was
the bike
Din's bike, his swoop bike.
Okay, the swoop.
It was it Din's or was it Cobb's?
Maybe it was Cobb's.
I think it was Cobb's.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense for these parts to just pop up all over the place because they outlawed the pod racing, and these wreckage. There was wreckage from pod races all over the place, especially near Mos Espa.
Oh, Jawas were picking that up and selling that stuff all over the place. Yeah.
Speaking of bikes, by the way, Xwing, not to make your head any bigger than it already is, right? But I distinctly remember in one of the trailers, you were very, very sure that the bike scene was Boba. And subsequent to that, when they zoomed in, it appeared to be the Niktos. It was Boba. That was a misdirect, right?
Yeah.
That you ended up being correct because I think that's the scene we got. They just bait and switched the Niktos into that particular scene because they didn't want to realize that he was riding around with Tuscans.
He's like,
I love it.
Because God, I thought of you when I saw that. I was like, son of a bitch was right after all.
Oh man! Even after I chugged the beer, because Strike and I had that competition. That's okay. I'm gonna make him chug a bottle of hot sauce if he wants to come back on my channel. So
Oh my god.
that's his entry fee.
Between peppers and hot sauce, this poor kid.
He'll be all right, probably.
Just let him
Maybe.
build the Legos and entertain us.
Pikes were part of Crimson Dawn for sure. Here comes Kira or Hell Kira. Yeah, 100%. That could be a thing. Maybe she's working with the Hutts. I don't know, but definitely seemed like that was a Hutt controlled operation for sure.
I'm telling
Oh,
you,
yeah.
those assassins had training too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
all trickles down.
I think there's a possibility now that Kira shows up and teams up with Boba against the Hutts. Right. I think there was originally a thought that Kira was going to, because now there's scuttlebutt from #show and others, right, that Kira is getting her own series again, right?
Mhm.
Whether that's a misdirect and it's referring to the fact that she's going to be here and now that's leaking out, or whether one thing leads to another, I don't know. But now that the Hutts have made an appearance, I think it's reasonable to believe something else that we're not expecting could happen with Kira that then enables a future series that's just a little different than we've been sort of leaked onto at this point.
And I feel like that's been half of the fun of this whole Boba thing is that there have been so many leaks that have come through that are like, that's 100% going to happen, right? And it's completely off. And then we get another leak that'd be like, Black Chrysanthemum showing up. Like, wow, that'd be really cool, but I don't see them bringing a character like that. And then, bam, dude shows up with 2 Hutts on a litter. Like,
Spicy.
come on.
Spicy.
It's so cool to me. And just I was thinking about it today as I was driving down the highway, and just like the CG on the Hutts, the way Black Chrysanthemum look, like I felt good about it, man. And I think what's happening is we're starting to transition from the first part of the show, which is really, sometimes it's a lot of exposition. It's a lot of building into, this is why this stuff is going to happen, which, it kind of, sometimes it stinks. Sometimes you got to eat your vegetables and then boom, it leads off. And you're so much happier that you ate your vegetables when you bite into that juicy steak at the end of it. You're like, ugh, I'm full. I'm fulfilled. I know why I ate that steak, and now I'm happy, and I'm ready to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like that's what this is.
Stanley made a good point here. He's thinking the mayor's assistant hired the assassins behind the mayor's back.
Yeah,
Now,
that's a big
speaking of that guy, that's another thing that took me out.
The major domo, that guy pisses me off to no end.
He's annoying, but what took me out even further was the front desk.
The front desk guy, the Wendy's employee. He looked like the Wendy's employee,
Dude,
right? No,
like,
not to stereotype, but
I get they're trying to like
second day.
They're trying to modernize Star Wars, for every audience. I get it. I get that you kind of have to do that, but like that went a little too far. I was like, what are we doing right now? Somebody shoot this guy.
That's what dude, he should have greased him right there. That would have made people
There's
happy.
no reason that character should have lived.
There's several weird things to me about that whole interaction. Number one, why did the mayor send Boba and Fennec back to the sanctuary to hear about the Hutts when clearly he knew all about it, right? It was like, go ask your mama about it, right? That thing I didn't understand, firstly. And then secondly, the reason why I'm on a little bit about Kira maybe not being antagonistic is because when Fennec and Boba interacted about the Hutts, they passed a remark about needing to get permission to kill them.
Right.
Permission from whom? Right. And I don't think they go to the Council of Hutts and say we want to kill. You know what I mean? There's a part of that that doesn't. There's some part of that, and I know they're all in a collective, right? But there's some part of that commentary that's strange.
I think it actually is, though, going to the Hutt clans for permission. Correct me if I'm wrong, and somebody in chat or anybody totally correct me on this if I'm wrong.
Oh,
but I seem to remember a moment in, I'm pretty sure it was Clone Wars. There was something that somebody wanted to do dealing with one of the Hutts. It might have been Zero.
It was Zero.
But someone went to that council and was like, look, something's got to be done about this one. I know he's your family. I know he's this, that, and the other thing, but he's got to go. Wasn't there something like that happened?
Yeah,
Speaking
and
of-
they totally
speaking
have a
of-
council chamber and everything, dude.
I don't know
100%.
how much of that council is still around, right? Speaking of Zero, by the way, there's speculation that the male that was on the litter is Hero. Zero's
That is not
son.
Zero. There's no purple tattoos.
Hero, not Zero. Hero,
Hero,
Zero's
okay.
son.
Hmm.
Because there's some thought that the female is by the name of Kraka. No joke intended there. That's really her name. And apparently she comes from one of the comics. Kraka and Hero are cousins of Jabba.
Were they connected? Were they Siamese?
No.
I think they were just laying close
They were
together.
just close?
I don't think
Okay.
they were conjoined.
I was kind of watching, like, are they
They both had tails. They were just kind of
okay?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, now we got a fight on our hands. This just got more interesting.
What do we got? What do we got?
No.
I don't have my sound.
Hey!
for it, so I couldn't-
Oh no!
I couldn't play your
Nah.
intro, but I could do it a cappella if you want me to.
I'm not gonna be that.
He's heard it
negative.
that many times.
What's up,
I'll be
buddy?
as positive as I'll be as positive as possible. Don't
Be as real as possible.
Yeah,
that's
be
what I would
honest.
ask.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
what this is about.
You, just be you.
worry.
Just be you, girl. Yeah,
I don't know. I just want to start off by saying that I have faith in the future of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I already know that by the end of it, I'll have come around. I just don't know if it'll be like a Mandalorian season 2 type come around, because I really wasn't feeling that season either until like the Ahsoka episode brought me back in, the Boba episode brought me back in. But then I don't know, man. Episode 7 wasn't too good to me, and then episode 8 just like without that episode though, I'm not loving that season too much. So if this season has a couple of those type of episodes, which they promised every episode is going to be that type of episode.
They did, not me. They did.
Yeah, them. Robert Rodriguez.
I have to say, I do have to restate my previous commentary. Robert Rodriguez should have just kept his mouth shut. Right? I personally don't believe he's delivered on that promise thus far.
The second he said all killer, no filler, I was like, you just shot yourself in the foot. You should have just kept your mouth closed. And because he set the bar.
Is it impossible to be that among Star Wars fans? It's kind of like
Yes.
nothing. Yes.
Yes.
Can be all
Nothing's ever
killer,
good
no
enough.
filler, right?
But here's
It's-
the thing.
well,
for
it's
a
Disney.
lot of people-
All he had to say is, I put my heart and soul into the series. I believe that I did something that I can stand behind and say I gave it my all. Done.
Yeah, I don't really think it's been filler. I think it definitely is possible to have all killer, no filler, but I don't think it's possible to please everybody. But I think it's like when I heard him say that, I felt like he had heard the criticisms from The Mandalorian, and like really that's my only criticism from The Mandalorian was that there was some filler episodes.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, if they're actually understanding that and they can fix that, this thing is gonna bang like seriously. So that's what I thought of whenever I heard him say that. I don't think it's been filler. I just don't think it's been great.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like this. I wouldn't call these episodes filler at all. Like it wasn't like he went on a pointless mission, which is what a lot of filler episodes for things are.
Right.
This just, I think he kind of set that hype level a little too high for some people, where they're like, "Wait, we're telling a story right now, and people aren't getting wasted." I was like, "Hold on," that I think pushed people away a little bit. But I'm a patient guy, man. I'm in for this slow build for the big payoff.
That's
I
where I'm
compared
at.
it earlier to how I felt about Phantom Menace. I love Phantom Menace, even the slow moments and all the politics and everything. And the reason really is because I came out of that theater seeing the best lightsaber fight I had ever seen in my life to that up to that point.
Right.
Like that
And
changed my
everything
world.
played a point up to that
Mhm.
lightsaber fight, right? So
Yeah.
there was that slow burn. You have to eat your veggies, and then you get that big payoff. And that's kind of where I'm at with the show. And that's a perfect analogy. Is Phantom Menace. Like a lot of people don't want to sit there and watch Anakin talk to Padme in the slave shop and yippee and all those things that come along with the Phantom Menace. But when you look back on it, you remember it as like, damn, that was so tight. I remember that feeling. Maybe it's nostalgia that's playing at me, and it's
Maybe.
that feeling of being a kid that could totally be it. But I don't know. I think I honestly think this is going to be the show where we look back and we're like, damn.
Yeah.
We
Well,
went dumb as
Boba's
fuck.
actually going to go, "Are you
mean-
an angel?" You will be.
One thing's for sure. One thing's for sure. If we see that slave shop in this episode, they'll be selling flowers there or something, right? And they'll be making it a point to tell us that it's no longer a slave shop.
Of course, yeah. And then that's when he's gonna say, "You know what? You're right. I should
Watto's
rename
selling
my
flowers.
starship
I mean, really, it also comes down to
the flower spray."
he rips the head off of a sand creature that basically like pushed somebody into the ground, and not like just into the ground, but like into the ground. And he basically tears this, chokes this thing to death with his own chain on his leg in the first episode, right? He escapes the Sarlacc in the first episode. He gets dragged through the dirt. We see some stuff, but really that episode gave us a lot and it had a lot of action. So if that's not enough killer for you, I mean, find something new.
And I tell you,
Go
know what? I
skydiving.
totally,
Get a pilot's license, a stunt pilot's license.
when he's holding the chain and it starts to pan in on him, I totally got that the Sith Creed vibes through Victory. My chains are broken. That was like a perfect analogy for that. I don't know why that stuck with me. That was awesome.
And I'm also nearly convinced now that the leaked photo of him riding around on a Rancor was him on that monster, right? The picture fits perfectly with him on that monster choking it, right? If we don't see, I'm now leaning towards the fact we won't see a Rancor in this episode, in this series, because I don't think his keeping a Rancor in Jabba's palace is consistent with what he would learn from the Tuscans related to menagerie and animals and what they do or don't do. I think we got fooled there, and the little gag that we saw in this episode is the extent of the Rancor business we're going to see in the series.
Could be interesting.
And to Maria's point, actually to her follow-up point, this episode, like I agree, these two episodes I think were meant to be combined and were split. For the sake of filling in, having the episode count. But I feel like a lot of people would have viewed this a little bit differently if this was all one episode. Even to that point, like, how do you think people would be feeling if this launched all at once, like the way Cobra Kai did? Bam, here's your whole series.
I honestly think, though,
complain about because we wouldn't have to wait.
I think, Matt, though, when it comes right down to it, they didn't want to set the precedent of an 80-minute episode, right? In regards to having them combined, they didn't want to set the precedent that they can really put almost a movie-length episode out there on streaming TV, and I think that was also a part of the reason why they decided to split it up.
Yeah, no, it makes
also,
sense.
Heartfelt disagree right here. Coming up from the sand, anyone tried digging down in sand, tried digging up. It's impossible. Not if you got somewhere to put the sand.
You blast a hole in the side of a Sarlacc.
Bro, yeah, that sand's just going to fill the Sarlacc pit. All you got to do is let gravity do everything.
Plus, did anyone else find
God,
it weird
man.
that Sarlacc wasn't moving at all?
It was dead. He killed it.
No, dude, there was a heartbeat.
But it didn't. Do you think so? He killed it when he
roasted that
torched it?
sucker from the inside out.
You saw how
I don't know
much
if you've ever
flame
been
came out
punched
of it
through
when,
the small intestine and had a flamethrower erupted in your guts before, but it's usually not good for your health.
But you've
that
seen
happened
how
just
much
once.
flame actually
Well,
comes out when
the
Mando
only
does
reason-
it to
The only reason I'm asking, right, is because pictures I've seen of a Sarlacc is
they're
it's
huge.
a monstrous thing down below, right? And from what it appeared, where he and the well-placed stormtrooper were present, I don't know if it was close to the top, or I don't know where it was in reference to the whole thing, but it certainly did seem dead
Well,
when he
where is
punched
the
his way out of it.
what happens to? I mean, a worm or something of that size, so more like a reptile when you cut off the head or you blow up the head, right? It's
Bye, Justin.
it's basically you roasted his esophagi and cooked him. I just look at it like he cooked him from the inside out.
Yeah,
And we're implying that it was dead because of the dead tentacles on the sand. I mean, that could have just been a limb that was just,
Nah,
nothing
like
really
just
to
think it was
declare
dead,
that the
bro.
Sarlacc is dead.
My right arm needs some sun.
I heard a heartbeat.
I'm gonna lay out in the Tatooine sun.
Dude,
it
that
was
thing's
alive
dead.
before he roasted it. It was
Yeah.
Oh, but speaking of the Sarlacc, though, in this second episode, when he was tripping balls with the lizard in his head, and he's back in the dude. Those flashes of him being in the armor, out of the armor, in the Sarlacc pit, and that was crazy.
incredible filmmaking, dude. I thought that was just like visually, that was freaking beautiful. Let me guess, Chrisman, I didn't like that.
No, the production quality. No, the production quality on this episode I thought was outstanding, and I think what I haven't heard a lot of people talk about is the person who directed this episode, Steph Green. It was her first foray into directing anything Star Wars, right? And we had a lot of folks saying that let the people who know how to do it direct, and we have enough people, and don't let anyone else. This was Steph Green's first time doing it. And I thought, even though the story didn't resonate with me, I think she directed and produced the episode she intended to do. And some of those psychedelic scenes were absolutely, to me, just super well done.
Yeah, that was breathtaking. And I love that they're expanding on the daddy issues with Django. I think that's going to become a major factor. I think moving forward, we're going to see more of young Boba interacting with Django. That's good. It's coming.
That would be so cool. Like that one little moment where you see him running down the hall on Camino, watching his father fly away.
Yeah.
How often did that happen to him?
Yeah.
That had to
100%.
be such a frequent occurrence.
Yeah. I loved that.
Do I get to kill a youngling now?
Oh,
yes.
I
just
think so.
Felicity.
Do I get to slap a youngling?
Felicity Poobell with another 10 credit. Man, why are you so nice to me? You know that pay, that's good. Like, I'm living in a hotel, man. I really appreciate it.
She just wants to watch the younglings get killed.
She does. I know it's for sadistic reasons, but thank you, Felicity. Lucasfilm don't have to pull with fandom to play the slow burn game with 6-7 episodes. This episode was better for me, but the story should have kicked in after the twins. Don't flash back to after the Hutts.
I see what you did there.
Slow burn, dude. Slow burn.
Well, I mean, who saw? Like, we got these leaks about Black
Chrysanthemum. We've been talking about him for months.
Right. But did anybody think about 2 Hutts showing up?
The only person I've heard mention Hutts was Star Wars Meg, and it was just because she thought it made sense, right? I don't think it was because anyone has seriously been leaking anything about Hutts. It was just, it's kind of hard to have a crime-based series set in Tatooine without Hutts. Now, again, I still have questions about why they didn't care when Bib was in charge, and all of a sudden, now Boba's in charge and they show up with the contract or whatever.
Right.
Bib was not trying to take over.
Yeah, Bib was a slave to them.
He wanted to get fat and sit on the throne. Fine.
That's possible, right? It's possible that Bib was just serving them like he served Jabba, but the whole premise behind Bib's escape was to take over, I think, without still being shackled to Hutts. So that's where there's still a part of that story that to me is a little disconnected.
We forgot to
because it was almost like Boba told the Hutts that Bib was in charge, and it just didn't seem like that part of the conversation connected. Even Boba said,
"No, he told them the history. Over. He told them exactly what he did, and he told them exactly what they need to do if they want it back."
And it was like, oh, that happened? Like, why did they? It seemed awfully coincidental. Like somebody called, hey, come on, something's happening.
The girl,
I think it was the mayor.
The money was like, no, not the mayor.
He went and saw the mayor first.
Right? No, the one who's running the spa. Obsession's right.
She's evil, bro. It's
the twee who's got all the Sith or whatever jewelry, all that fun. That. As soon as he shows up there, boom, we got ourselves a
if
Hutt.
I may.
Hello.
Hello. If I may. Boba goes and drops off the assassin directly to the mayor because the assassin admitted the mayor sent him, right?
Uh-huh.
I think that's true because the assassin literally thought a Rancor was going to tear him to pieces. I do not think he was lying in that instance. Immediately after leaving the mayor tells the Hutts, we have a bigger problem. Bib Fortuna didn't work out. While he's over there because the mayor sent him there and he's distracted, The Hutts are already on their way. So
I still don't know why he sends them to Garth the Whip, right? I think it's more likely that the mayor's like, I don't have nothing to do with these Hutts. Go talk to Garza. She's the one who's ringing them up and selling you out. And
because they're all in it.
I didn't want these assassins either. Maybe they're doing the good cop, bad cop, or bad cop. I don't know. But that relationship
we underestimate how much power the Hutts have. All of the parties benefit from the Hutts still being the representing party there. Boba Fett is a big problem for the entirety of all of the trade, everything that is happening in the underground. He is the new numero uno problem for everybody in that area.
All right, you boomers are out of control. You are aware that there are pot lickers running around in the council chambers unchecked right now, right?
What?
I mean,
there are little pot lickers running around in the council chambers.
He wants
unchecked.
to kill young. He wants to kill young.
Oh, all right. Obsession, get your palm warmed
Let's
up.
take care of the problem, okay?
I finally
We
get
take
to
care of
tell
it.
Some young.
Thank you.
Thank God there were too many of them. We had to get.
They're multiplying.
They were, yeah. Hey, whoa, easy.
Hey,
yo,
yo,
take it easy, man. Come on now. What up, Dad, man? How you doing, brother?
yeah, I mean that club is not struggling, bro. So
they're living the high life right over there.
Right, and it's because of Hutt protection.
It's about money, right? I mean, they're loaded. That's the whole point, right? It's their power is about money and control, right? It's they got a lot of dough and they can throw it around in the outer rim where there's not a lot. So I understand what you're saying. That Boba is a problem to their business. But I think he's just saying everything's going to go on as usual if you just get off my planet. Right? That's his perspective. You can't just show up on your backs of slaves getting carried around and expect to come and take this from me. I took it from Bib. It's mine. Come and get it. Get your fat ass off that litter and let's see what you're made of, right? But instead you're going to snap your little fingers and have somebody else do your dirty work. So
it was a show of power, I think, and they now know that it's just Boba and Fennec and two Gamorrean guards.
See, that's why I'm saying this is gonna be like a freaking Avengers Infinity War type thing, where they're gonna be people who have loyalties to Boba, friends who have been with him for a long time, and then there's gonna be the Tuskens along with them, and then there's gonna be these Night Wind assassins or whoever the Hutts can scrape up. Maybe it's gonna be the Pikes.
Dude, what if the people that side with him is the whole lineup from the old one, and then the ones that we haven't seen in live action from the comics and things like that?
They're going to be with the Hutts. Yeah,
dude.
I'm so down with it, dude.
And like I said, I still feel I know a lot of people
That's
are
the
very
all
hopeful,
killer, baby.
just like everybody's hopeful for Mace's return of some time in this new Mandoverse. But I think that this show in particular has a different dynamic, and we're gonna I know everybody's excited, but I think Cad Bane is if he's going to make an appearance, it's going to be a flashback. It's not going to be him with the Hutts.
I was kind of thinking the opposite now, because I wanted the flashback, but now I kind of feel like the next hired hand is Cad Bane.
Why wouldn't you bring your Ace of Spades out from Jump Street? Why would you bring your Eight of Spades out, right?
I think it's possible that part of the leak that may still prove true is the whole Kira Cad Bane connection, right? I think if we're going to see one, we're going to see them together in some way. I think
really?
Everyone's going to bring their champion, right? Boba's got Fennec. The Hutts have Black K, right? I think Kira's
totally going to do a Fennec
Kira's going to bring Cad
Boba's got-
Bane, right? And I think something is going to, what I mean? I think everyone's going to have that one lieutenant that they're setting up.
Rematch?
Yeah, doesn't Fennec fight Cad Bane in Bad Batch?
In Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're totally going to get a reference to that in Book of Boba, 100%.
Yeah. I want to see that Wookiee fight.
We still have scenes we haven't seen yet. them around the Last Supper table, right? That ship approaching, the character on the speed, the female character on the speeder bike. Right. So we've still, another thing we were told, right, is, oh, don't worry, all the trailers are going to be exposed within the first episode.
Those are the allies he's trying to build.
Well,
That's where Bosk fits in.
He's unifying what is Jabba's territory. He's giving them an option at the table. Either you're with me or you're with the Hutts. Make your decision now.
Yeah, that starts.
Right?
Yeah, that makes
bringing
sense.
in all of Bib's lieutenants, all the family heads that were living under the rule of Jabba, and he's basically bringing them in and saying, the Hutts have declared war. You're either with me or you're against me. Pick your side now, but you may not walk away from this table if you choose wrong.
Yeah. See, in that whole like show of power in the street scene there, here's what I sensed from it, and I could be way off on this. I felt like those Hutts didn't know that Jabba was dead. It felt like to me that that Bib was kind of hiding the fact and reaping the benefits, and then Boba just kind of blew up the spot. It was like, he's like, Jabba's dead. I took it from Bib. I don't know, because
I mean, how often do the Hutts check in on each other?
They don't. That's the thing.
They don't give a shit. I don't think they
for
really
5
care about
years. For 5 years,
if it's all quiet,
if Bib plays his cards right,
no one gives a damn about Jabba.
Back the same
what is this weekend at Bernie's? He's got Jabba's body in the back, and he's just playing with the tail and like, "Hi guys, like weekend at Jobbies." Come on, bro.
Well, you know what? Here's the
Hold on a
weird thing
second.
that we
I
haven't
wanna
even
see that
addressed
movie.
yet, dude. This is the weird thing. We don't even
Your
know.
shirt.
We don't even know what the dynamic is with Bib because we haven't seen any of that yet. All we've gotten is,
dude.
What did I miss something?
I want to make an animation of that, like one of the theory videos of that.
I want in on that.
Oh
100%.
my God, that's ridiculous.
Of what?
It's Bib
of
cartoon
weekend
in a
at
choppy
Jobbies,
hollow
where Bib is basically weekend at Bernie's Jabba and like has a string like flapping the tail and oh my God, stop it.
like
Oh
Han
my
Solo. Everything's fine here. Everything's
fine,
good.
fine. How are you? Oh my God.
I think the only hole in the theory.
No, why has this not been done yet?
I don't know, but I feel now I'm official that I got that reaction.
I think the only hole in the theory about the Hutts not knowing Jabba is dead is everybody made it off the sail barge but Jabba. Right, so surely everyone's like, "Hey, we made it, Jabba didn't." Right? I mean, Max Remo's like, "Yeah, son of a bitch didn't get off." You know, I don't see how nobody would know.
I swear to God, if we see Yak Face walking across somewhere, I'm like, "Okay, I quit."
Bro, everybody made it off but Jabba.
Fire only affects the Hutts.
Dude, and I think they've been hinting at the Wookiee Trandoshan rivalry from the beginning with the one dropping off the pelt. And I don't know if anyone else noticed, but there were a ton of Trandoshans in the streets as they were walking through. So they all saw Black Chrysanthemum walking by, and I 100% believe one of them has told Bosk about this.
Coach in the house.
At least one.
Ooh, that could be here.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Haters gonna hate.
The haters.
Elbow cough? You can't even call that a dab?
Wow.
Did anyone notice that? My God.
That's what YouTube prescribes it as. So you can't call it that.
I didn't know what a dab was until like last week.
Really? You got kids. Your kids,
can ask
your kids
Dab
don't
Matt.
dab
Well, that's
on
where
you?
I learned this stuff from.
That's not a Fortnite. That's a Fortnite
you
term,
can ask
dog.
elbow cough, Matt.
The other day,
Anyway.
I'm playing a game with my son, and he's like, "Oh, you're being sus, Dad." I'm like,
So
"I'm being what? What did you
so
just
now
call me?"
for the Muggles here, let's give a little
Dude is our new
background.
favorite word.
Tell the kids, why did we see that Black Chrysanthemum scene in a comic where he escapes his prison from a sleeping Trandoshan?
There's got to be something because it's on Wookiee, like talking about how he was banned from Kashyyyk and basically is a gladiator because he went and took out 4 slaver groups by himself through, I think, gladiatorial combat and things like that. So he's definitely bad at. I don't know what comic that's from, but that knowledge is out there. It's got to be from.
Now, is that
somewhere,
the
I
same?
assume.
Is that the same? Is that the same Trandoshan slave pits that Ahsoka found herself on with in Clone Wars?
It would be
Yeah,
the
I
same.
couldn't find the
same
name.
idea.
I couldn't
There's
find
the-
Dur anywhere.
But I'm
What was
gathering it's that same thing where they're scooping up people and then hunting them. Yeah.
Yeah, for
I
for
think
what's
so.
it, they have like a point system, and then they
Yeah.
report up to we talked about this the other night, but now I'm
They're
forgetting
death
the name
pits.
again.
Yeah, Bosca's the scorekeeper, right?
Yeah,
The
scorekeeper.
scorekeeper.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. The Wookiee pelt that the Trandoshan brought in.
Oh, as soon as he
100%.
walked up with that, I was like, "Oh, dude, this
Mhm.
this is gonna get deep."
I
Yeah,
don't see that as cool as that would be. I don't see like Black Chrysanthemum bringing like an army of Wookiees and all the Trandoshans in Tatooine. Like, oh my
No,
god,
he's
that's
gonna kill. He's gonna kill.
No, I
them
just
all
think he's a
himself.
target. I think he's a
He's gonna-
target now.
He's gonna kill all those guys himself. That Wookiee is a badass.
yeah, I think he's going to be pretty dangerous, dude.
If they're going to do anything with Wookiees, right? I mean, again, in Solo, they freed a whole bunch of Wookiees, right, from
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
enslavement, right? So I mean, they have a lot of things they can do, right? If there's, I don't think Black K was one of those Wookiees, by the way, right? I think there's no relationship there, but I mean, there is an awful lot of overlapping things here that they could pull on if they want to.
But how many Wookiees are really left at this point? The Empire murdered a lot of them. They basically wiped out Kashyyyk.
Well, dude, that's why the slave one's called the Slave One,
Not anymore.
right?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
by the way,
I mean,
if
how was the
anybody
Death-
from Epic is watching right now, it is called Slave One. If I launch in Fortnite again and it says Boba Fett Starship again,
undownload it, yeah, getting rid of uninstall it.
Uninstall.
I hate to be the
Trading
guy.
skins.
I hate to be the guy bringing it up, but I listen with the adaptive speech on now when I rewatch the episodes. And in the first episode where they pan to Camino and the Slave One on the pad, the adaptive speech says, "Pan through Boba Fett starship on landing pad. Pan away, sees flashing or whatever."
My
So-
friend, are you blind?
and that's messed
This
up
whole
because it's
time you were
Django
blind?
ship
I
at
had
that
no
point.
idea.
What?
You're blind?
No,
I had no idea.
It's interesting what you hear in the adaptive speech, right? The
Right.
adaptive speech declared it was Tashi Station, right? There are things that the person says that are not captioned and that are not apparent that they fill in the blanks on. So it is a little annoying. I don't recommend it on the first watch through, but I do recommend if you
There's
rewatch it, turn
Some
that
secrets
Yeah, I'll
in
do
there.
that.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I
know
never
what?
thought about doing that.
That was actually how it was. Who was I watching it with? Right after Rise of Skywalker released out of theaters, watching it with subtitles at the very end to catch all of the voices who's speaking to Rey. It's all in the subtitles.
on. Yes.
They put everything in there. I was
And,
like, oh wow.
and also not only does the adaptive speech declare it's Tashi Station, but the subtitles call the female character Cammy. They never
Right.
name the male character, but the subtitles do. But they never speak their names. The names are never spoken otherwise, but the subtitles say that as well. Maybe the credits call him Fixer. I didn't look at the credits, right?
Yo.
So
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
My man Green Bear blowing my mind right now. Black Chrysanthemum versus Chewie.
So that was the thought, right? If they're
If we're
going to
gonna
bring
get
in,
Han?
if you're going to get Han, Black Chrysanthemum, and then Chewie kills Black
Whoa.
Chrysanthemum.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's more of a Boba
Bowcaster
Black
versus-
Chrysanthemum
I
setup.
I think it's more likely, unfortunately, if Han shows up with Chewie, it comes out that they're cousins, or Chewie's like, "Hey, what's up, bro? Don't do that," and there's some sort of a
that would be
reconciliation.
well. No,
that
because he
happens.
was banished from Kashyyyk. So
I-
he's infamous among the Wookiees.
Well, perhaps when there was a planet full of Wookiees to be infamous amongst, right? I think on what we're
Yeah.
talking about here, sometimes those things are put aside, right? When the race is decimated.
I think
We've
judges
already
do
seen
go.
Chewie's
All's
whole
fair,
family
all's fair,
in the
yeah.
holiday special. We've already
Yeah,
seen his whole family. We know who's in the
Stir
family. He
with-
would have
with-
been there on
stir
Life
feet.
Day.
It's
Stir
more
with-
likely that we are going to see a Boba versus our Dark Wookiee.
Yeah, I want that.
That's more
Mhm.
likely to
That
happen.
look he gave him.
Yeah, I mean, they basically they've seen each other before. This isn't the first time these two have been to the same dance, right? They may not have been able to get on the floor together, but they definitely were eyeballing each other from across the room before. This is not the first time they've come across each other. So they definitely have some history. Maybe it's in reputation, you know. Everyone thought you were dead and now I'm going to get to kill you kind of thing. But I feel like that is more on deck than Finnick. I don't think Finnick is going to go toe to toe with a Wookiee. I think that's more Boba style, and Finnick is there to be the backup. She's there to make sure no one gets him from behind, And so, for me, that's a big part of her job, and not so much, for, that's Boba. Sorry.
We don't talk about the holiday special. I think it's more realistic that we see Chewie rather than Han, in my opinion, because throw somebody up in a
they're
Wookiee
together.
suit. But they don't have to be all the time.
Right. It just would be odd for me. Like, what the heck is Chewie doing in Mos Espa by himself? And all of the rumors about Harrison Ford coming back with the CG treatments and everything like that. And if you ask resident Boba Fett expert Strike, there is 100% stuff in the expanded universe where Boba and Han team up.
Really?
Don't get me wrong. I'm down I'm down for Boba and the Falcon at some point.
You want to talk about you want to talk about two guys that hate the Hutts more than anybody. I mean, who are the two guys that want to see the Hutts out of power, right? Han, because hey, I can I can refresh my credit score, and then Boba Fett. Obviously, it's a mutually beneficial agreement there. If we take them down and I wipe your slate clean.
Yeah, but I agree with Darth Maximus. Actually, he's saying in Boba's current condition, he can't take on that Wookiee like that. Like he's healing. He's still on his way to becoming whatever he's heading towards. He's not the man he once was, but he's getting there. He's getting real close.
I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good.
Come back bigger, faster, stronger.
We have the technology. We can.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like they're doing a fantastic job with this show right now. I feel like if they wanted to, if the fans want to shit on it, that's cool. I think there's still going to be a lot of humble pie eating. I think that everybody just needs to chill out and let these guys do what they do, and this is what they do. I believe Jon Favreau wrote an amazing script, and everybody just needs to chill the F out.
I really think on the Harrison Ford thing, right? I think when he agreed to do Indy 5, there was a part of that contract that said, "While we have you,
by the way,
de-aging you,
I love that.
While you're just here, why don't we give you a little bit extra and you pop over for a few days and we do this, that, and the other?" And Harrison Ford says, "Show me the money."
Yeah, all they need to do is paint some dots on his face, stick him in the egg, take 1,000 pictures, and boom, you got young.
There was already a snapped pop picture, right, where he had the dots on his face, and everyone assumed it was for Indy 5.
Yeah,
right. This would have been a no-brainer to me from a pure business standpoint.
Yeah,
right?
Or maybe they use those photos from Indy 5 because they could do a young Indy shot in Indy 5, and then just use that same data.
Got to assume they de-aged him already in Indy 5.
Right.
They probably just did them back to back.
Then they would just need him to read lines.
Damn, that's actually super easy.
It would be so easy to do.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't think they used Tobey Maguire in physical in any of the No Way Home. I can't confirm that, but a lot of that stuff looked like it was. A lot of that stuff looked like CGI.
I don't have my soundboard.
Not like that. I mean, like he wasn't in the room with them when he came through the portal originally. In my opinion, it felt like
spoilers.
Haven't seen the movie.
You got to be kidding me,
bro.
I haven't seen it either.
I should probably watch.
I thought I was
tonight.
the last one to see it, right?
Yeah, I should probably watch it. I'd rather do.
None of y'all have seen it. Wow.
Yeah, I haven't seen
it. I think we're going to go to the drive-in this week. I think that's where we're going to end up seeing it.
I mean, don't look at Uncle Kenobi's profile picture, then I guess.
I mean, honestly,
yeah.
I know.
He's only
I know
been
what.
on the chat last week. Like
Spoiled it. Well, you know me. I love spoilers and leaks and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I'll actively search them out. I love it because
Anyway, what were we
and
talking
that's-
about? Han Solo and de-aging?
Yeah, that's what. Well, I mean, that's what I was talking about with the way early
Okay.
on in the show. We were talking about, Star Wars and how it is right now. It's fun because a lot of these spoils and leaks, total redirects and misdirects and all kinds of crazy stuff. I love navigating that minefield.
Not
I
only
can't believe
that, but
Toby Maguire is going to play a young Harrison Ford. That's
I
incredible.
know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
What a rumor to spread.
not
Wow.
only that,
He's
they
playing
seem
an old
to have,
Shia LaBeouf, actually.
they seem to have done a great job with every episode, leaving it in such a way that you have absolutely no idea really
That was
of
good,
what's
Hawk.
going to happen next.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's 100%. They have everybody guessing, and everybody's guessing. And yeah, I mean, Star Wars Meg's got some inside info for sure, and great on her. But there's not a lot of people calling shots right now. It's all over the place.
Man.
Yeah. Okay, so we've been going for an hour and 5 minutes. I'm outing myself right now. I read a High Republic book and I liked it.
I
Ooh.
kissed a girl and I liked it.
So I'm
and
gonna
actually,
go.
I'm gonna bow out for this part just because
He's like, yeah, just
boomer
get me
time. I
outta
got
here,
it.
dude.
I gotta go.
listen to it. You've gone to
No,
a place
I'll watch
can't
the rest of
follow.
it. I'll watch the rest of it tomorrow, but I gotta hit the sack. I really appreciate it.
Good night,
This,
man.
guys.
Thanks for being here,
this
man.
a lot. Y'all
Thank you for
take
being
care.
here, buddy.
Yeah,
Peace
man.
and
Thank
love.
you.
Later,
I
dude.
appreciate it.
You've gone to a place I can't follow.
So,
Not my
Yeah.
gumdrop buttons.
No, not the gumdrop buttons.
See, I'm really curious what you thought of it, because I'm honestly like, I want to get my hands on some of this and start it, and I didn't have any interest until I
Right.
heard Hawk talk about it, and then I was like, all right, well, now I kind of need to read this.
So, yeah, I'm gonna do a review vid, Weavin. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna talk about it. But look, I have talked so much crap about
So much
crap about what's his name, Geode, and the dark side plants, like the Little Shop of Horrors, right? I was like,
Oh, that's cool.
I need to know about what I'm talking. Yeah, what am I talking crap about?
Feed
And
me
you know
the
what's
dark
funny?
side.
That's exactly what they are, dude. Like 100%.
Feed me, Seymour.
Kind of.
Me.
But the poll was interesting because it was 60 votes and it was 60-40. And I would say that most of my community, I would say a large percentage of my community, is the salty people who are like, nah, get that out of my face. Like, get that corn out of my face. I'm not trying to see it, dude. And even 40% are like, damn, okay, I would try it. And so, obviously I had that really long drive, and you put an audiobook in 2 times speed and you can cruise through one of those in 6 hours, 7 hours. So I listened to it and I was pretty happy with it. To be honest, man, the craziest
Which
part
one?
for me was that it was Into the Dark, which is what everyone references when they talk about the High Republic. It was the plants that are imbued with dark side energy and frickin' Geode, and the ship called Vessel, which still irritates the shit out of me to this day. But
I thought that was a joke.
no, the ship is called Vessel.
Yeah, one of the ships is called Vessel.
And Matthew McConaughey, the guy who pilots the ship Vessel,
What?
yeah, it's
Like,
Matthew
all
McConaughey.
right.
100%.
Yeah,
That's
it's Leo's. I don't remember
Leox.
the name, but- Yeah.
yeah,
Ali
he's-
oxen free.
He's 100% Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
They
It-
said as much.
I gotta tell you, dude, when you get to the end of it, you're gonna be like, all of that shit that was going on was like probably 90% unfounded.
Well, a lot of the backlash had nothing to do with the product itself. It had to do with the people creating it and the
Right.
stupid shit they were saying in public eye. It had
Well, and
nothing to do with the whole thing.
High Republic's a big thing, right? I only took one little slice out of it. I took one little slice, and the reason I picked that one is because it was Claudia Grey, who has proven herself as a Star Wars writer before with content that I've enjoyed. And so I was like, I guess if I'm going to do one, I'm going to do that one. And I got to tell you, it was not that bad. And Geode was actually funny as fuck.
let me ask you guys this, because I've never.
How's that humble pie taste?
No, it's not. humble. It's still. It's
Would you
still
like
the
some gumdrop buttons?
It's the dumbest idea for a character in the world. It's literally the dumbest. But
Well, let me
I mean,
ask you this, because I've never taken the time to actually put any effort to typing this into Google. All I've ever seen of Geode is the concept art, which I've been told from some people wasn't even real.
no, it's real.
It's real. He's a
Yeah, no.
slab of stone.
It is
that
a
what-
rock. It's a rock. And what makes it
He's
funny?
an obelisk.
What makes it funny is that they'll be sitting on the ship. They'll be sitting on the ship and they'll be like,
what
"Damn,
else
I
would he
wonder."
be doing?
They'll be talking about it and they'll be like, "Damn, I wonder what Geode thinks." And then they all turn to the left and like somehow this rock is now in like the kitchen, just staring at him. And they're like, "What the fuck?" And then they'll go to the bathroom. They go back up to the bay, and the rock is in the cockpit now. And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Geode's flying.
somehow, the two people that are like that fly the ship, they know how to like talk to this thing, and they'll be like, "What do you think about a geode?" And it'll be like Leox caught another glaring glance from Geode, or Leox caught another glaring glance from Geode, and they're like. The people who aren't familiar with him are like, how do you tell what the hell this thing is doing? Like, it's a rock. It's literally a rock. So it's kind of poking fun at itself, which is funny.
Oh man, what is this,
And
like
then
Monty Python presents Star Wars?
It's just funny. And then they go to Coruscant, and the people that are on there who don't know Geode are like, dude, where's the rock? And they're like, oh, he's at the clubs right now, just hitting it up hard, dude. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I don't know how that wild man does it, man, but he's at the clubs right now, just getting wrecked. What the fuck?
He's getting stoned.
Yeah. I think it was just kind of funny. Would I call it like a true like Star Wars book? No, but for a fun Star Wars themed book, yeah, it was fun. And there's some callbacks to I can't remember the name of the freaking character right now. It's going to drive me nuts. He had a spear on the speeder bikes in Tartarovsky's Clone Wars. And then Obi-Wan cut him in half, and every time you cut him in half, his limbs grow back.
The regenerating guy.
Yeah, I was just looking at his figure the other day. Actually, I have it. And anyways, those the dark side like vegetation creatures I thought were going to be super lame, but in the audiobook, when they find them, dude, they're like venom. They're super gnarly, this like super ancient species that was at war with the ancient Sith, and like you cut them and their tendrils just like suck back. Yeah. They're like 9 feet tall and they're super gnarly, and they refer to humans as meat. And they say this meat speaks more. Like, well, the other meat doesn't do this. Like all these freaking things want to do is just eat meat. Like they're sketchy. They're super sketchy and they're hardcore dark side. So I don't know. It was cool. It was fun. I would say, look, like you got nothing to lose except for a couple hours by maybe just giving it a try. I can't recommend anything else in the High Republic because I don't know anything about it, and I've heard a bunch of crap about it. But I'm just saying that little snippet that everybody was so hardcore centric on making fun of with Geode and all that different stuff, it's 90% unfounded, but it's a fun look. It's a fun look. I don't know. It's just fun.
I'm gonna give it a try. I can get the audio. I didn't realize they did the audiobooks for it. I can get those actually through an app through the local library, and they'll have them. That's how I listened to the more recent Thrawn trilogy back and forth from work that way.
The one that just ended, or
no, the Timothy Zahn, the one that started with
where he's lost on the planet.
Yeah, where he pretended to be stranded there, and then leads all the way up to him interacting with Anakin in the flashbacks and all that. Yeah,
that's a good one. I'd recommend the new one. It's a lot harder. The new one's
I gotta get a hold of the new one. I haven't read any of that yet. But
it's tough, dude. It's real tough. So, anyways, I figured I'm actually not getting skewered in the chat, man. I thought I was just gonna get absolutely wrecked right now, but. Yeah, good. I hope you guys try it. Like I said, I can't say anything about the rest of the High Republic, but give it a shot. It's fun.
There's good stuff in there. I mean, like all Star Wars, you just have to kind of ignore the humor that's too corny, or there are tones you don't like. But as a fan personally, like I will at least go through it all. You know what I mean? I want to hear it all. I'm about the lore. Like if some of this stuff reflects later, I want to know it.
And that was the big thing for me is there was nothing in there that was like so atrocious that it ruined it for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There was nothing in there and everybody was like, bro, it's so woke. It's so freaking woke. The only thing that was in there that would be even remotely close to like political or social justice was like one of the side characters in the story had a wife. It was a queen that had a wife. That was it. And it's referenced like twice in the book, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, I don't really get where like all that came from.
Dude, it literally comes from like an NPC haircut on a cover of a comic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much what it was.
Silly.
Whoops. Hold on, Xwing. I have to put a full arm glove on, lube it up with KY from an industrial drum first. Please bend over. And I
Damn.
Fuck. That's funny as fuck.
Zero fuck.
Jeez.
Wow, coming out swinging. Well, there's
Welcome
your,
to
there's
the
your
Book,
hate, bro.
Joseph.
There's your hate,
Man.
bro.
Okay.
If that's all you're getting, I think you made out like a bandit.
So, anywho, yeah, give it a shot. If you're one of the 40%, just try it. It's like, dude, one Audible credit. Give it a shot. The audiobook's cool because you get all the lightsaber sounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's some cool stuff with the Jedi. They go into underneath the Jedi temple, and they talk about how like the Sith relics and stuff were down there, and you know, there's some cool stuff.
Where my friend Mace Windu has been hiding all these years.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, dude.
Drengir. The Drengir in the comic, when you first meet him in the comic, they infect a Jedi who has a missing arm, and then the tendrils regrow the arm like Venom is holding the saber in the Drengir arm, and they're all in his brain. He's a Trandoshan, dude, and it is scary.
That's like a
because he
Venom
becomes
Trandoshan.
very
That sounds
savage.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. And in the
Really,
audiobook,
first four
like,
comics, man, it gets crazy.
the audiobook is dead on when they talk. It sounds just like Venom. And so
That's
I
cool.
wouldn't want to, the reason I wouldn't want to read the comic is because now somebody's like showing me what to think. I think I like the audiobook because I'm picturing in my brain like this, like a character from like Fable. You remember that game Fable on Xbox? Like I'm picturing something like that. It's super gnarly. But
yeah, dude. I mean, the fact that you're open to even seeing anything that is High Republic is a W.
Yeah, I'll try it. If it's shitty, I'm gonna shit on it though.
Of course.
But yeah, I thought it was fun, man.
The fact that you're even willing to check it out, you know, and say you like it is a pretty huge testament. So
there's a lot of the problem is usually time. Like there's so much good stuff coming out that I want to enjoy. It's hard to find time to actually consume the stuff that I don't really want to consume. You know what I mean?
If no one else is consuming it and they're not hyped, you got no one to talk about with it. So
yeah,
it's like,
I had the opportunity.
The reason
to
I
check it
started
out,
my
so I did,
channel.
so
Yeah.
So cool. Anyway, well, I think we lost Matt Cave. I think his kid probably pooped his pants again.
oh no.
Poor
that's
little
okay.
fella.
I mean, you know, everybody poops their pants sometimes.
I'm super down to do some boomer gaming. If you guys want to do some
What do you
Mario
wanna-
Kart or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, you don't have your pewter, so you can't like Fortnite or anything, huh?
No, I can't Fortnite, but I can
can
Mario Kart. I can kart.
Yeah, we can.
I figured out how to hotspot my phone to my Switch because I couldn't log into the hotel internet because you have to use a user agreement and the Switch won't do that.
Consoles are weird.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and dude, and
Welcome to my world.
It can't be worse than Tatooine Rhapsody. That's what I'm saying. The High Republic after Visions for me was like a breath of fresh air, bro.
So I don't hear any complaining. It's all up from here now. You guys got nothing to complain about.
So, anyways, I'll do a video review on that because it's not going to be like what do you call it, edit heavy, because I don't have any editing software here. So I'll take care of that. But I'm down for some boomer gaming if you guys want to set it up.
Yep.
If you guys are down for it, I'll probably do it on Obsessions channel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll set it up.
Cool.
I'll get the stream set up. Yeah, we can.
You all good, Matt?
I don't know if I'll be able to stick around for gaming, but I'll see what's going down. We got stuff's happening.
Sick
Yeah,
kids.
Yeah.
He's had a rough go, man.
Yeah, poor little filler. I don't cheat. What are you talking about? All right. Well, we'll set that up. Matt, I hope we see you over there. If there's anybody who wants to play some Mario Kart in the chat, let us know. We're always
Except
always.
Paul's not allowed to come.
Yeah, Paul's not allowed to come ever. Ever.
No, I'm just joking. Paul, join us. I insist.
And I think the next time we see each other, we'll have had Book of Boba 3 under our napkin. I'm super excited about it, dude. I'm super pumped. So anything you guys want to say before we go? Obviously, the links, everybody that's in here, the links for these amazing people's channels are down in the description. Please go over there and subscribe to the homies. If you're going to support me, you got to support these homies because they support me.
I just want to throw out there a little shameless plug. I'm 11 subs away from my goal to get this giveaway going on.
All right, everybody go over right now to the Mac Cave and get them over that mark. 11 streams or you get 11 subs, get over there. There's 24 people in here. Go over to the Mac Cave, subscribe. I don't care what you have to do. Get over there and do it.
Oh, and also I'll publicly apologize to Strike for what I did to Boba Fett. I'm sorry, Strike.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh
I'm
boy.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
But
a thing.
It's still funny. It's still funny.
It's always funny. Anything at the expense of Strike is funny, actually. I know he'd love to hear me say that. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for the Boomer Council. We will see you guys again next week. Same place, same time. We love you all. May the force be with you always.